All right, here we are. This is podcast number 1, Kim. How exciting is this? The Rise and Grind podcast. You are rising and grinding with Brett and Kim over some coffee. Coffee Oasis coffee. We'll go into that in a minute. So basically, we just want to break down the podcast number 1. Number 1, if you like podcast number 1, there's going to be a podcast number 2. If you don't like podcast number 1, please keep it to yourself.
Yeah, we don't want to know.
Yeah, we will be crushed emotionally. And so
negative feedback not requested.
Yeah. If you'd like to comment on how much you didn't like this podcast, there won't be comments available. So basically, here's what we want to talk about. So the Rise and Grind podcast, a brief explanation of what we want to do is we got together and we said, you know what, let's have a podcast that talks about important things, because we're going to talk about important things.
And the not so important things.
And the not so important things. Equally as important as talking about the important things is the not so important things, because there's lots of not so important things to talk about.
It's on everyone's mind.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is. There's some amazing things that are going to come over these podcasts. What we also want to do is we want to bring fitness full circle. Now, fitness means so many different things, Kim. We know that. We got to talk about wealth fitness, health fitness, risk fitness in what you do, physical fitness in what I do. And we want to bring those together. So each week, or whenever we decide to do these, we'd like to have special guests. And this week's special guest is Kim Aker and Brett Clark. This is about as special as special gets, right?
We are your special guests.
So deal with it. We'll try to be as special as we can, but we'll do that.
You know, growing up, sorry to segue here, but growing up, my parents always told me how special I was. And I really believed them, like to the point where I was just like, always in the back of my head, like I got something going on that's really special, like compared to each person I meet. Like I always had this like false sense of speciality. Wow. And I'm not to say that every person is special, but there was a moment in my adulthood where it dawned on me, like, nah, I'm just pretty ordinary. Like there's nothing special.
You didn't try out to be a princess?
No, I'm not a princess. I'm not magical. My room doesn't clean itself. I still have to, for better, I don't know, I have to take care of myself the way everyone else does. Don't say that, Kim. You're on a podcast. Keep it classy.
Yeah. I might cut that out, or I might just keep it.
I would cut it out.
Okay.
I would get rid of that.
We'll see what happens. And then, so the other thing we want to do is we want to bring in our official sponsor of the Rise and Grind podcast, which is Coffee Oasis Coffee. This is a phenomenal organization.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You might know a little bit more about Coffee O than I would. What about these guys makes them great?
Yeah, I've partnered with them a few times now. So Coffee O, the ones that we work with, because we're right here in Kitsap County. So Coffee O, they're not for profit. They are a coffee shop. They have locations all over the place: Port Orchard, Bremerton, Paulsville, right? Or is that Kingston?
Nope, they have Paulsville and Kingston.
But they are also over the water at Tacoma as well. But Coffee O is an incredible organization. They focus on providing a lot of resources to at-risk youth. And that youth could be like, actually teenagers all the way through age 23, I believe. But they help take care of them, give them resources. If they don't have a place to sleep, they have shelters for them to sleep in. They have clothes. So if you have extra clothes, you could donate those to the Coffee O. They will provide it to, and it's not just like hand-me-down clothes. It's like they want like the style and stuff for the kids. Yeah. So when they go to school, they feel confident. So basically, Coffee O is an incredible organization. So if you're going to buy a cup of coffee, buy it from Coffee O.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more, Kim. There's that $5, although you don't think that $5 goes very far, it goes a whole lot farther with Coffee O than it would in a big box chain. Not to name any names with that. But again, they are the unofficial sponsor of Rise and Grind podcast. Yeah. We do have spots for official sponsors.
If you are watching this and you're like, wow, I would really love to tag my name to this podcast, but they already have an unofficial sponsor, like we'll make room for you.
Yeah.
If you want to give us your money, we'll put your name up here.
Yeah, the unofficial sponsors are filling up fast, but official sponsors, there is some availability for those. So excellent. Right. So, Kim, I do a lot of reading. I know that's surprising because I'm a big dumb jock, but I read an article the other day, and it was the most amazing bit of clickbait, and it clicked me into it. It said that diet sodas are being taken off the shelves in North America.
Oh, wow.
For real, like gone.
No more Diet Coke,
No more Diet.
Pepsi, no more.
It's out of here. And so obviously you got to click that because I'm like, oh, finally they're deciding that these artificial sugars are not good anymore. We're going to take them off. But that is not what happened.
Oh.
So although you might not be able to get your Diet Dr. Pepper, you can still get your low calorie, 0 calorie in 0 sugar.
So they're just rebranding it as a 0 sugar soda.
Yeah, because if you take a look at the stigma about this, I'm not on a diet, so I'm not going to buy that diet soda, but I am going to buy that 0 sugar soda.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what's all in a name. So I thought, gosh, here's this society is taking this big step forward. How have we got to get away with this diet stuff? It's not.
Yeah.
We're just changing it.
We're one of the only countries that actually sell diet soda, right? Like other countries have banned that in some areas, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was in Mexico not too long ago, and I was able to get a diet rum and Coke. So well,
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, real question then, because you have a background in nutrition. You're obviously a smarty pants. You know a lot more things than I do. So as far as what goes into a 0 sugar soda that they're going to call it, or the Diet Cokes, is it really better than just sugar? Like, are they better alternatives than just having an actual sugar-filled soda?
What's
the difference?
There's a lot of strategy behind answering that. So basically what it comes down to is that sugar in that liquid form is just not good in general. So if you take a regular Coca-Cola, for instance, it's going to have somewhere between 39 and 41 grams of sugar. That is a quarter of a cup. There's a quarter of a cup of sugar inside that can of Coke, right?
Okay.
And if you think about that, you're like, oh my God, how could you possibly do that?
Like, who would pour a quarter cup of sugar into a cup and just drink it? Like, who would just
you can't do that.
That's a lot of
nobody
sugar.
can do that. So, but you can in liquid form. And so what they did is they went back and they took out this the actual sugar. They added aspartame, or they added any number of these chemical ingredients. You heard a lot about the artificial sweeteners and the issues that they had with those, and they put those artificial sweeteners in there to extract out the sugar. Now, on one end it does okay, but on the other end there are these other side effects that happen from having these artificial sugars. One of the biggest side effects that I see from those is the fact that there's so much more sugary tasting than the actual sugar drinks themselves.
Yeah.
So then they become so much more of this craving, and also triggers that, because what happens is your body, it senses that sugar, it sent it in the saliva. The saliva is expecting to get this sugar, but it gets fake sugar, but it's still wanting to grab a hold of that. So a lot of times what we've seen in studies, and there's a lot of studies that back this up, is that when people drink diet soda, they're that much more inclined to also have additional sugary or more caloric or carbohydrate related drinks because of it. Now, the main difference is between the 0 sugar and if more than like 2 people listen to the podcast, they might call me out on it. But the different listeners, the difference, and one of the listeners works at Coca-Cola.
The other one is my mom.
Exactly, who will call me out on it.
Yes.
So the difference is the different types of sugar they're using in the 0 sugar, the sucralose or any of those kinds of things. But we're still going to see that stuff. Okay. And kind of my view, to kind of make this as long as possible, is I think it's going to be one of those things like in the future where we're like, I can't believe we ever played with mercury or played with lead. You'll be like, I can't believe in life that we ever vaped and had artificial sugar. Like 30 years from now, they're going to be like, why did we ever let people do that?
Why did we put this in our bodies?
Yeah. So anyway, that was the rando, not so important fact of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. There is something in my head that if I see a 0 sugar Coke versus a Diet Coke, I will choose the 0 sugar Coke. So these marketing folks are onto something. For like that. That seems to be, in my mind, a more healthy option. Yeah. Even though
they got it all figured out.
One and the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
thank you.
So I didn't mean to burst your bubble. You won't be able to get your Diet Dr. Pepper, but you can get your sugar-free Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
So look for it.
Okay.
So that, and Kim, with the rando topics, if you come up with a rando topic, you just let us know and we'll talk about that. Hey, viewers, listeners, whatever you want to call yourselves, if you guys come up with a rando topic and you want us to talk about it, this is the time you would comment. Yeah. So leave us a comment and we'll be glad to.
So earlier you said that we were gonna cut off the comments. People couldn't.
No, for negative people.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're unable to comment for negative.
So yeah, we will accept we'll take your ideas and your rando requests, but not your negative feedback.
No, our software that we've engineered, it automatically detects negativity, and then it will shut down the comments.
Yeah, you'll see within 24 hours it's deleted.
Yeah, and that's not anything we're doing manually. That's the software.
Clearly, it's very smart, sophisticated software.
So Kim, a lot of people are setting up on fitness journeys, and so one of the things when I take a look at all these people setting out of fitness journeys is the source of information that they get. Now, you are significantly younger than I am.
I wouldn't say significantly.
Well, some would say. But back in the day, when I needed useless information, I did not have the computer to go to find my useless information, like maybe you did. I navigated life without Google, but in order to find somebody who was useless, you had to find somebody useless. If you wanted useless information, you had to find somebody useless. That neighbor and I found useless people. But anyway, the useless information that's available on the internet is crazy right now. I was looking at the top gym myths. The top gym myths that are out there.
Well, there's probably a lot right now. We're in January.
Yeah, there's multiple gym myths, but I just kind of wanted to throw out just a couple that have really been bugging me.
Lay it on me. What's the
number one myth I think that I see is that cardio is king or queen, depending upon how you view yourself, and that the only way to lose weight is to cardio. Okay. And I hear that time and time again. And
the Peloton craze is going wild right now. So that's cardio, right?
Well, the Peloton craze is going somewhere.
It's going somewhere.
We're going to save that for a different podcast.
That's cardio, right? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you watch Peloton stock, that's definitely going somewhere as well.
Wow.
But the cardio craze, yeah, you're absolutely right. You got Peloton, you got all these different things that create movement, and I understand that. But cardio is just one aspect of that. Multiple studies have shown that resistance training and a good nutrition plan trumps cardio so much. Okay. And so the reason why I say that is because when I go into the gym, I see so many people spending 35, 40 an hour of their time on the treadmill, and then inevitably getting nowhere with that. So gym myth number one is that if you want a cardio because you like cardio. If you don't like cardio, strength training and good nutrition planning is absolutely fantastic. So
I'm so glad you said that, because my body's just not built for cardio. I just don't do that well.
Exactly. And you know I am not built for speed, but my attention span is not built for cardio. So that's my biggest struggle. Gym myth number two, as we talk about getting off the cardio equipment, going over to the strength training equipment, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to be all big and bulky.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
That is my favorite, because that is not an accident.
Oh.
Big and bulky is not an accident, Kim. You are not going to fall down, do 6 push-ups, and then all of a sudden be monstrous. It is a very intentional process. You have to want to be big and bulky. I've been at it for 15 years. I am not big and bulky yet. So not to worry, Kim. If you want to pick up a couple weights and start swinging around, you are not going to turn green and all your clothes rip off. That's not going to happen.
I'm not going to hulk it up.
You're not going to hulk it up. No, okay. It's very intentional. But when people hear the word toning, and they talk about, hey, I just want to get toned. I don't want to lift weights. I just want to get toned. Well, you're not going to get toned on a piece of cardio equipment. You're going to get toned in the weight room. Mm-hmm. You will. The last one that I got, this goes back to our unofficial sponsor, Coffee Oasis. If you didn't know, Coffee Oasis was an unofficial sponsor. Coffee is a dehydrant. Coffee is not good for you. Coffee will make you dehydrated. Coffee is not.
But there's so much water in coffee.
So much water in coffee, and there's so much other goodness in coffee. Not only the deliciousness in coffee, but just overall. So here's the thing: coffee does not dehydrate you.
Okay.
Coffee is actually considered to be water. There's more water in coffee than there is a dehydrant. Yeah.
Okay. So everyone does say that. They're like, oh, don't drink coffee if you're dehydrated.
Yeah, you're gonna get dehydrated. Well, the actual fact behind that was actually proved like in 1924 or something.
Okay.
I wasn't there for that, but I have read studies where back in 1924 it was disproved that it wasn't. So you can a lot of the studies that they've done now. I'm like a big gym nerd, so everything revolves around the idea that like studies have shown, or I saw some data on this, but anyway, studies have shown that that coffee up to 400 to 500 milligrams of coffee, which is about 4 to 5 cups of coffee, is somewhat healthy.
Really?
In nature. Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. It boosts your metabolism.
Okay.
It acts as a vasodilator for moving blood flow better, mental sharpness, alertness. It also, there's been some studies that I've seen recently that have shown that it actually minimizes pain during exercise.
So a couple questions. Number one, I had a professor years ago that said, oh, go Cougs, to say that. And he said that hot water was better for you than cold water. So he'd always ordered hot water when he came to my cafe. Now, I don't know, I can't remember. I'm sorry, I'm not smart enough to remember what he said about that. But do you think there's something to that? With the coffee is generally hot, so the hot water in the coffee, is that why maybe it's healthier, or is that just completely random? No,
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what his opinion was on that, because I know maybe some conflicting data, but other than that, I don't see that.
So this random, okay,
yeah,
no problem. I'm the queen of just random useless garbage that may or may not be true.
Well, then fantastic. Well, we're not going to run out of podcast ideas then.
Yeah. So okay, question number 2. So the caffeine intake of that, though, so you just said 4 to 5 cups of coffee is still generally considered good for you, but what about the caffeine intake of 4 or 5 cups of coffee?
That's 4 to 5 cups of coffee is 400 to 500 milligrams of coffee.
Okay.
And so that's where most of the studies, there's not a lot of studies that have shown over 400 to 500, but many of the studies between the 400 to 500 have shown a lot of great data based upon that. The other thing too is that water intake is so important, and it will not dehydrate you, but there are some things that will dehydrate you, like alcohol. Alcohol is a dehydrator. I know, believe it or not. You drink coffee for your hydration and wine for your antioxidants, right? And you're perfectly okay.
If it's so dehydrating, why do you have to go to the restroom all the time when you're drinking? You break that seal, they call it, and then you have to use the restroom again and again. So I mean, it sounds like you're pretty hydrated.
It sounds like you're pretty hydrated. You're flushing it through.
Again, garbage facts that are not true in my mind.
Well, so. I'll do my best to dismiss the garbage facts.
No,
so
I'm mostly kidding.
Kim, those are my 3 biggest debunked myths out there. Now, I don't know that we talked specifically about what you do in your adult life, obviously besides being a phenomenal co-host.
Thank you.
But you are in the insurance business.
I am.
Which has its stigma on its own. And so tell me about those insurance myths or insurance stigmas.
Yeah, so I joined the insurance industry about 3 years ago, and I'm so glad you asked that question, because there are some myths and some very incorrect, themes going on about my industry out there. The first one I can think of is my industry has done a great job of selling the past, I would say 2 decades. They've sold quick, fast, easy. You're going to see it on every commercial. Just get your insurance online, 15 minutes, we'll get this done for you, we'll save you some money. But this just cannot be true. It's just not true. Like, as I've become an agent, I have seen firsthand how crucial it is to actually know what you're covered for and have an agent that's going to explain that for you or advocate for you. It is not in your best interest to go online and just type in a few things and take the first quote they give you, because unless they're going to explain each line item to you, what your coverage means for you, I'm finding most people don't even know what they're covered for.
But there's a lizard that says I can save 15%.
I know, but the lizard is not your friend.
Are you calling the lizard a liar?
Oh, no, I would never say that, not officially or unofficially.
Yeah.
But I will say that
reptiles are not your friend. Insurance agents are.
Insurance agents will take the time to actually make sure you're adequately covered for what your family needs. For example, I guess this jumps into another one of mine, which is the idea of full coverage. So a lot of people think, well, I have full coverage. I pay every month. You know, I've got comp and collision, therefore I have full coverage. Like speaking as, of course, of like auto coverage for your insurance for your car. That's just not true. In fact, I had a client, a friend of mine, who was with the lizard, so to speak, for 25 years. And he thought he had full coverage for his vehicles. And when I took a look at it, I was shocked to find out that although he had a very high combined single limit, which is, you know, an overall liability limit for his bodily injury, which is great, he didn't have any uninsured motorist protections, and he didn't have any medical coverage. And those two things I see a lot with our quick, fast, easy culture that we've created in the insurance industry. People don't actually know what they're covered for.
Yeah.
And they think that they've got full coverage, so to speak, because they have comp and collision or a combined single limit, but they're missing really important lines of coverage. Like uninsured motorists, that's what happens when, you know, you get in that accident out there. It's not your fault. You're a good driver. You did just, you know, you were just on the road going to the grocery store, and somebody else caused the problem, and maybe they fled the scene, or maybe they, you know, gave you their insurance, but they don't actually pay their premium, so they're not going to cover you. And therefore your current insurance would cover it under uninsured motorist. That's where it's really important to have that coverage.
Right. Because obviously I'm a phenomenal driver. I mean, I
clearly,
I don't think I would admit it otherwise, but I don't think I'm necessarily as worried about me as I am everyone else out on the road.
Oh, and
You know,
in Washington, over, I think it's 1 in 5 last I checked, on the road are going to be without insurance entirely, or have the state minimums, which is only going to be $25.50, and $25,000 medical protection or bodily injury, I should say, is not going to go very far in today's world. I mean, have you been to the hospital lately? I mean, the costs for a night's stay could be well over $20,000 just by itself, not to mention the ambulance ride or any scans that have to be done or surgeries.
There's some phenomenal resorts that charge that. I think I'd much rather go to a phenomenal resort.
You still got Mexico on the mind right now.
Yeah, $20,000 a day. I've always kind of avoided those hotel stays, so I think I want to try to avoid a hospital stay at that same rate as well.
Yes. No. So yeah, you are correct in being worried about the other drivers on the road, because most of them are going to be either underinsured or uninsured. So that's number 2, I guess, the full coverage myth. And then the other one I would say is quoting means so when someone asks me to quote for them, I don't expect their business. And I think a lot of people out there are afraid of insurance agents because they're afraid, like, if I quote with you, you expect me to move my business to you. And
so it's not a marriage license. It's strictly a quote, not a marriage license.
Yes,
okay.
It's not even dating. It's just like part of the thing. Like we need quotes as part of our daily jobs. Like we need to have a certain number of quotes per month just to,
So would you say instead of date, is it like swiping right?
Yeah, just swipe right and quote your insurance with me. There's no commitment here.
Maybe that's an app. Maybe that's an app that we can work on. Kim, swipe right.
Swipe
quote.
right if you want to quote with me. Yes, please. If you can invent that for me, I would love that.
Yeah, app. I have no technological knowledge at all, but I'll get to work on that.
I've got a lot of friends that are like, maybe I'll let you quote my insurance later, and it's like, well, no, I'm actually here to say, like, I might need a few more quotes this month, and I actually it's enjoyable to me to be able to show people the gaps and the areas of coverage that I would recommend increasing. And so for me, there is no problem with quoting a friend or even just a referral, even if I'm not going to get their business right now. So I would still rather be a resource to them and get the quoting numbers I need just for my job.
Nice.
So yeah, I think people I don't know that.
Well, let me ask you this. We got an insurance I watch a lot of insurance commercials. I'm not sure why, but I watch a lot of them. So
I wonder why.
So I want to talk about these. I got one insurance company, just all it does is show me all the funny stuff that happens. Like, He goes around. Maybe you've seen this one. He goes around. It's this professor like guy and takes him through the insurance university.
Let me guess. He knows a thing or two because he's seen a thing or two.
Because he's seen a thing or two. Yes.
Okay.
We've got that person. We got my buddy Mayhem. In the latest one, he flies out the window off a Peloton. It's the craziest thing. And then also we talked about our good friend, the reptile.
Yes.
So what do you have? I got Mayhem falling out of cars at high speeds. I got the professor going around talking about all the things that he's seen in his days. And he hasn't, I know, because I've seen him on other television shows. He's an actor. Just to let you know, that is an actual actor.
Yes. Oh,
yeah,
yes.
He is not an insurance guy.
He was in Law and Order for a long time.
He is not an insurance guy. That's false advertising. And then I got the lizard driving around in his sports car.
Yeah.
So what do you got?
Well, love that question. My company's been around for almost 100 years. We actually don't advertise in the same way as many of our competitors do ad nauseum, with the funny on like millions of dollars going into those ads, right? We don't really do that. I think we are starting to do a little bit more billboards and things like that, but we're not really focused on advertising so much as word of mouth referrals. Like I grow my business just like this, just in a conversation or referral. I help a client. I ask them if they know anyone else that I could help, and they say, "Oh yeah, talk to my sister, talk to my neighbor," and that's how I grow my business. So you're not going to see me jumping out of a car or talking to a reptile on TV. So is that your question? I mean,
that's kind of what I wanted to know. That's for me that's what it is. Everybody wants to buy I'm going to get insurance because of this and because of this reason, because of this reason. I'm
not going to lie. I love the lizard. I was with the lizard before I became an insurance agent. It dawned on me after I became an insurance agent, I would much rather, buy insurance from myself than somebody else that has a cute commercial. But I bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. I was like, he's adorable. I love those commercials. I'm in. So I mean, a lot of people do that. There's nothing wrong with it as long as they know what they're covered for.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, my friends and family and clients have just grown to enjoy calling me when there's an issue, rather than a 1-800 number, I guess.
So what if let me play this out. What if I don't know what kind of insurance I have? What if I just pay, I have this guy and he just pays insurance every month.
You got a guy.
Yeah, he just this friend of mine, this guy I know, he just pays insurance every month, and maybe he doesn't know what kind of insurance he has or anything like that. Is that the process? Is it prudent to say, hey, Kim, can you take a look at my insurance and tell me what I have and what I'm lacking, and where I can be better off? Is that a function of what you do?
That is a main function of what I do. That is, free insurance review is the bread and butter of what we do, because without the quote and the review of that, we never get a new client. So really that's part of what I was talking about earlier with quoting. I don't expect your business, but I still want to make sure you're adequately covered and show you what you have. And I think that's kind of been one way a lot of my family has utilized me. It's just a resource to understand what they're covered for. And funny enough, a lot of them, when you first become an insurance agent, you think all of my family is going to buy from me.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, because I'm an insurance agent now. Why would you buy from somebody else? But that's just not true. In fact, I would say your family is the hardest sell in some cases to get, because they know you. They're like, they want you to build your credibility first, I guess.
Yeah.
Versus a stranger that's just like, oh, she's credible.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
She's answering my question.
And I can attest to that because, as I've been operating as a fitness and nutrition coach, I have 0 family members as clients. 0. But I've disowned them all. So now my friends have become my family. So I have an entire family full. The BC family is full of them. But yeah, I'm with you. It's crazy that skepticism you have with your family.
No, I'm not going to lie. When I first started, I quoted a family member, and I won't mention who right now just because they may ever listen to this and I don't want to.
They could be one of the 2 listeners.
They could be one of my 2 or 3 listeners.
What's the odds?
And I know they love me very much, but I quoted them, and versus what they currently had for home and auto, I was going to save them hundreds a year. Like I was like, I'm increasing your coverage and I'm saving you money. Like it's a huge win. It's a win-win. And then they shot me out right at the last minute, found like a cut rate, something else online, and was able to save even more than that. I'm like, even though I was going to save you money and we're blood relatives, They shot me up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
family is the hardest to actually sell.
Absolutely. Because nobody can screw you over as well as family.
No, but for real, it's a hard sell. I think that actually I forgot what I was talking about, to be quite honest. We started
probably insurance.
It was something to do with insurance. Full coverage, family. I don't know.
We're talking about reviewing other people's insurance to tell them where they're lacking.
Yeah, but anyways, I love doing that. In fact, that's kind of like, I feel more like I don't know. I mean, I feel like more like an educator than I do like a salesperson in insurance.
Yeah, I'll get a high five on that.
Yeah, thank you.
That's exactly what I do. You know, when people ask what I do, personal trainer is not really what I do. What I do is I give people the information as I understand it. And if it's compelling for them to make a change inside themselves, then they make a change. And
if only that just fit on your business card. If only like instead of personal trainer, that entire sentence you just said, could be your entire business card. It
does. It's gonna wrap around like a border.
Circle.
Yeah, it's gonna wrap around like a border. It's gonna be fantastic. But no, I completely understand that being an educator, because that's really the most important part. And that is what this podcast is here for. This podcast is because we want to help educate people in different levels. Yeah. You know, I'm really excited because we're gonna have some guests coming up. We're going to have a life coach, a phenomenal life coach as a guest. And she's going to help us with bringing, our entire fitness full circle, being completely fit. We have a phenomenal friend in a financial advisor who's going to tell us about wealth fitness. So we've got a lot of opportunities coming up to have people come in and educate, because that's really what this is about, whether you call it paying it forward, whether you call it paying it back, whether you call it paying it sideways. I don't care how you pay it, right? let's just help people be more fit.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. The giver's gain mentality. Let's help them understand what they can do in all areas of their life to, be on the best journey possible.
Yep. So fantastic. So keep tuning in for these podcasts. We want to keep putting these together for you. Obviously, if you like this podcast, hit the like button, subscribe, smash that subscribe button so that you'll always know when the new ones are coming out.
It's that red button.
Yeah, it's the red button. Look for us on Facebook, Instagram, wherever Kim does that. I am not the social media guru. She's going to be the social media guru of the two of us. And we're just going to keep bringing these together, guys. Look forward to giving podcast number 2. Kim, great job. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Rise and Grind podcast, Coffee Oasis.
That's right.
Anything else to sign up?
I just want to like rise and grind and something.
We'll come up with it.
Okay.
Song.
We'll be working on this week after week to because we can only improve from here, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Get better from here.
Every podcast needs a number 1, and this is the number 1.
So if you're still listening to that, we appreciate you.
Yeah. All right. Signing off, guys. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.